Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. My name is Kessa Early. I'm principal of Hill Education Center, and we are excited to welcome all of you to our opening day, which will be tomorrow at 9 a.m. And we have all of our teachers and staff here, and so we're going to do some introductions. We'll go ahead and start with Jen Russell.
I'm Jen Russell, and I'm the assistant principal for Nova Independent Study, and super excited to be here.
Amy Fairhart.
Hi, my name is Amy Fairhart. I'm one of the core Nova teachers for high school, 9th through 12th grade.
Great, thank you. And Ms. Watkins.
Hi, I'm Carmelita Watkins, and I'm also one of the Nova teachers, and I teach 9th through 12th grade.
Great, thank you. Ms. Adams.
Hi, good evening. My name is Julie Adams. I'm also a high school Nova teacher.
Thank you, Ms. Logan.
Yes, my name is Amy Logan, and I'm a Nova teacher, and I am teaching TK, kindergarten, and first grade.
Great, thank you, Ms. Schaefer.
Hi, I'm Ann Schaefer, and I'll be taking the middle school English and history. I'm excited about tomorrow.
Great, thank you, Ms. LaPuse. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm Miss LaCuse, and I will be teaching the 4th and 5th grade class for Nova.
Okay, and then Ms. Shea.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ms. Shea, and I will be teaching Nova 6th through 8th grade math and science.
Great, thank you. Okay, so Ms. Russell is sharing her screen, so we're going to go ahead, just present it. Okay, so thank you, teachers, for being here to welcome our students and their families, and thank you for, it's coming up really weird. It has like a black bar at the top and the bottom. No? Mm-mm. Okay, I think.
Still the bar?
Still the bar on both. Mm-hmm. See how it's like up right there? Sorry, everybody, but teachers, thank you so much for being here, and you are welcome to stay for our presentation, or you can get ready for tomorrow and see your students first thing in the morning, but thank you so much for being here. So if you could just hold on 1 second while we figure out what's going on here with these bars. It's your view. I apologize, we're having some technical difficulties with her screen. So I think you can see most of what's happening. So we're just gonna go ahead and try to move forward. Okay, so some of the teachers that are not, if you can go back to the teachers. So we have Miss Cabot, who is unable to be here, and Miss Boers, who is also unable to be here. And then for our students who have a resource, we have Ms. Patowski, and I think that is the rest of our staff. And then in the office, we have our academic counselor, Diana Bouquet, and then Terry Baum, who many of you have already spoken to, is our office manager, and Tracy Krelling is our office technician. Oh,
You're seeing everything on this.
Everybody, can you? Yeah, so okay, now can you click? Oh my goodness, everybody, I apologize. Can you go back, please, to the, nope. Okay, so our mission, the mission of Nova is to provide an alternative pathway for TK students whose needs are best met through study outside of the traditional classroom setting and who desire a rigorous, guided, independent study practice. So a couple of things that have changed, right? So we've been in, and Nova has been serving students for a very long time, and we've done it really well. We have a tremendous team that are skilled at what they do. The way that it's worked prior to this year was a traditional independent study program for kindergartners through 12th graders. And they met one-to-one for 1 hour once a week, and that was it. It's all independent learning, and really getting those relationships with the students. And then as of 2021, 2022, we had some new laws that changed. And so the governor passed a law, the AB 130, and independent study may have certain components. And then we shifted from the traditional to the best practices, which we're going to go ahead and start explaining. So there are some big changes that have taken place for those of you that have been with us already. And those of you that were in VLA last year, there's also been changes. So that everyone's going to have to kind of adjust to the different changes that have taken place. And we expanded to serve TK as well. Okay, so Jen, do you want to go ahead and talk about the independence? Can you see?
Yeah.
So while she's, okay, go ahead.
So independent study in 21, and so this is a 1-year offer that districts are making. So the new independent study provisions will replace the former distance learning education code. And it says that all districts will offer some form of independent study for the year 2021, 2022. And that means if a district doesn't have an independent study, they can subcontract out with another district. There's some carryover from the existing independent study law, and then some additional requirements for students who are enrolled in independent study, particularly for those who may have gone away on a vacation and did independent study for 15 days or longer. So that's new. The bill was approved and signed by the governor, and it went into effect immediately, which meant that all of our school districts were kind of putting things together, which is where our flexibility has been in getting everything set up and ready for school start.
Okay, so the following independent study regulations in the AB 130 are carried over from existing. So an alternative to classroom instruction. It's not an alternative curriculum. It's just an alternative pathway for students to receive their instruction. The traditional, which is designed to teach the knowledge and skills of the core curriculum, that's still the same type of program. And it's available now for TK through 12th graders. And it's voluntary. So LEA means local educational agency or authority, and no one can be forced to participate in independent study. That's really important for our families to know, that you cannot be forced. And then the special needs students, so anyone who has an IEP, you have to have a meeting, and in that meeting, it has to be an amendment where they decide that this is the best placement for your child to learn. Okay. Independent study is an alternative to classroom instruction consistent with the school district's course of study. Again, it's not an alternative curriculum. And then these are just some other key terms that are important for you to know. Live interaction means basically just touch points. It's not the instruction happening. So it's really just touch points. And then synchronous instruction is the actual, either the one-to-one format for the high schoolers, or it's in small groups for the TK through 8th grade. And then asynchronous means you're learning independently. And again, these are just the key terms so that as we're looking at schedules, you have an idea of what's going on. These little boxes are really frustrating. Go ahead. Okay, so for this school year only, go ahead and go again. It's really important for families to understand that there is no more virtual learning. That is an obsolete term that doesn't exist anymore. The state changed it over to independent study, so it looks different. And that's something for you guys just to kind of, we're gonna ask you for grace. We're gonna ask you for patience as we navigate all of these new regulations that have been put onto our district and onto our school to make these changes. Do you want to just read through what the slide says, and then I'll go?
Yeah, and this will be explained further, some of these changes. So Independent study is now offered to students whose health would be put at risk for in-person instruction as determined by the parent guardian of the student. And the new requirements for the district have different timeframes for live interaction and the synchronous instruction based on the grade levels. And we'll go over that a little bit more. Course access must be provided for A through G courses, and any courses required for graduation must be offered, which happens. And then there's a tiered re-engagement process that happens if students are struggling or showing less than 60% of engagement in the week's activities. There's a plan to transition students. This is new, where within 5 days, if you say, you know what, independent study is not for my students, then within 5 days, we have to get them back to in-person learning. And we can talk about that a little further, but ultimately, the desire is to go back to the homeschool. However, if the homeschool is full, we have to work to get them into a school that has room for them, which may not be the homeschool. There's also new documentation and reporting that we have to do. We have to document the students' participation in their live interaction and synchronous instruction each day during the week, again, so we can monitor if kids are disengaged. And then the LEA must maintain all of that on the students' engagement.
Okay, so I want to be very transparent and I want to be very authentic with you and all of our families. All of these changes happened really quickly. And so our district every district was required to say, this is an option. And so our district opened it up in July, and we had to wait to see how many families were interested in this remote learning option, and which is now independent study, no longer virtual learning. And so then they had to take the how many students were enrolled or showed interest in being enrolled, and then we were able to then decide how many teachers that we needed to have in order to staff the proper ratio. And so we did not have a team of that provided to us by our district until August 8th. And so some of you I know have been frustrated, you haven't had any type of communication. We didn't know who our families were until August 11th. And we didn't know who our teachers for the TK8 were going to be until August 8th. And that's just because of the way that the state made these mandated changes. And then our district had to wait to get all of the information. So that it's not necessarily one person's fault. It's just the way that it's been. And so that's why there's been this disconnect and the lack of communication. And so we thought it was really important to start off with an orientation to give you as much information as we have, but to really just, again, ask for your grace and patience as we navigate this system. The good thing is that we already had a well-established program, right? So we're really lucky that we have been able to serve students independently for years successfully. And then we also had a successful VLA program, and all of our teachers that came on were part of either VLA or Nova last year. So that makes it really easy for the transition. And we were able to team up last Monday and redesign the entire program. And so what you're about to see in regards to the schedule, this was all stuff that we pulled from the state as best practice and then put into play. And so we're just wanted to be really transparent so that you have an understanding of everything that we've been going through to make sure that we do the best we can so that your students are served properly and that everybody feels very, taken care of. Okay. So I don't know if you want to talk at all about that.
And then with our intra-district families, we welcome you and we're excited to have you. You should have already maybe gotten a email from the district saying, here's information about continuing with your enrollment. The enrollment process has started, but the last step will be having your district sign an MOU. And that just is a memo of understanding with our district that says that your students being released into our district, and they deal with all of the legal issues around that. And that is going before our board tomorrow night, Tuesday night. And so the soonest it will get to your student's district is Wednesday. And so the soonest you might be having your student start is Thursday, which I know it's not the first day of school, but the great thing about independent study is it's flexible. And so your student can start at any point. And so we will welcome them when they come, and look out for that email if you haven't gotten it. If you haven't received it, it may be because the initial paperwork isn't started yet. And so you can email the district around that. And hopefully you have that email in your box now and you've started it. Thanks.
Okay, so live interaction and synchronous instruction. So grades TK through 3 have daily synchronous instruction for all students. So our littles are going to make sure that they have daily actual synchronous instruction in a group setting. Grades 4 through 8, both daily live interaction and at least one weekly synchronous instruction. You're going to see that we actually are meeting over the minimum requirement in all cases to make sure that our students feel that they have enough support, but keeping in mind that this is now independent study. It's no longer virtual learning. It's really shifting your mindset to see that this is independent study. And the beauty of this is that it's a couple of things. The flexibility is going to be great for you and your family and your student. And also for the littles, for TK through 5, we have parent expectations, which we'll get to, but we understand that a lot of parents are working, and you're not going to be able to sit next to your TK or your second grader while the instruction is taking place. And so having that hour, and rather than having a 3 or 4 hour day, makes it much easier for the families to navigate. And then you can do the asynchronous time at your convenience. And then grades 9-12, at least once weekly. So grades 9 through 12, those of you that have already been with us, not a whole lot looks different. The only thing that's changed is that we now have you have to attend at least one community circle time, which is social emotional learning, which is like check-in, mindfulness, checking in with your body. It will be really great for you. So that's the only real change for grades 9 through 12. And then course access is that content must be aligned to all grade levels. We're going to make sure that instruction is equal to those of the traditional setting. And then I'm going to go ahead and click over. And then the minutes that are required. So 180 minutes of instruction, either asynchronous or synchronous, is for the TK in kindergarten, 230 minutes for grades 1 through 3, and 240 minutes for grades 4 through 12. And PE is included in that for elementary and secondary. And then it's really important for us to just kind of use ELD practices so that it's just integrated inside of our curriculum. Okay, so those of you that are our TK through first grade families, this is what the state has deemed as best practice. And then you'll notice at the bottom is minimum requirement. And so the daily instruction is, or the daily interaction is that SEL time, that social emotional learning time, just kind of checking in and making sure that our students feel connected to somebody. And then 1 hour of instruction by the teacher each day. And then the other hours are 3 to 5 hours per day with the caregiver, parent, guardian. And that does not mean that you are doing 6 hours of instruction. It means 1 of those hours is with the teacher, and then 2 to 4 hours are with the asynchronous part on your own. But and each child is going to take a different amount of time to complete the assignments, and that's something to take into consideration. And if you want to show our schedule, and here's our schedule. You can't see it. You're just missing Tuesday through Friday, but it's community circle is 9 to 9:20, and that's the check-in and the weather and how are they doing and how are they feeling today? Maybe a fun game, a show and tell, and then synchronous learning is 1 hour per grade level. So TK and K will have the 1 hour from 9:30 to 10:30. And then the K and 1, depending on their levels, will be 10:45 to 11:45. And Miss Logan will make sure that she lets you know if you're going to be in the 9:30 group or the 10:45 group, and she'll determine that as she gets to know your child. But everybody will Zoom in tomorrow at 9 a.m. and you each should receive your Zoom link so that you know how to access or so that you know how to get to your classroom. So if you do not have access to the Zoom link, please make sure that you send an email right away to, do you want to say your email address?
And I can put it in the chat.
They can't see it, so you have to just tell them.
J MARSH RUSSELL at NUSD.org.
Again, that's jmarshrussell@nusd.org. jmarshrussell@nusd.org. If you do not have a Zoom link for any grade level, TK through 12. So please make sure that you let us know. Okay, and then again, the key just gives the description of what those terms mean, but we went through those key terms a little bit ago. So this is the next one this is again, best practice. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay.
No.
So,
Right there, TK the third there.
okay. It's still the TK.
It's the third. This is.
Okay, so I just want to go to the second and fifth. There we go. So here's your second through fifth grade. And again, we are going over the minimum requirement and making sure that you are that your student is receiving the best education that they can independently. And the second graders will meet at 9:30. The fourth graders will also meet at 9:30, and then the third and fifth graders will meet at 10:45. Everybody logs in at 9 a.m. with either Miss Cabot or with Miss LeCuse. Okay, so make sure that you have those links and you know where you're logging in tomorrow at 9 a.m. for your very first day of school. And then the asynchronous time, again, that can be divvied up however you see fit, whatever's best for your child and for your family. And then the tiered support is from 1 to 3. And that's going to look different in every single grade and with every single teacher and with every student. Some students are going to need a little bit more, and they might have some group time that they're going to be meeting. It might be one-on-one. It might be the parent, the teacher is reaching out to the parent to check in. And that's also our re-engagement time. So Ms. Russell talked a little bit about students who are missing school less than 60% of the time. We are required to find out what's going on and how we can best serve you. That's what that 1 to 3 time is also going to be for, is to figure out how we can help re-engage our student. It's also collaboration time for the teachers, the designing plan to design and listen for feedback and figuring out what's working and what's not. So that tiered support is not for parents to ask for the support, but it's the teachers that will determine what student needs to be meeting with them during that time. If you have concerns that this is not the right program, you need to let us know right away, and we can have a meeting and we can discuss what the options are and put a plan together and see if that plan works. If it's unsuccessful, we would then have what's called an evaluation of enrollment meeting and decide if we need to have your child return to their traditional setting so that they're receiving the best education for them. And again, you are allowed to ask us at any time to please send your child back to their traditional schooling. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be at the neighborhood school, but it will guarantee that you can be placed back into traditional in-person instruction. Okay, grade 6 through 8. So best practice is the same as the fourth and fifth graders, and it's that same thing with the 30 minutes to 1 hour of instruction for the synchronous learning, and then the social emotional learning time. So for us, we decided that that's our community circle time. We want to go for it. This is what our okay. So community circle is a little bit longer for our middle schoolers. It's going to be from 9 to 9:25. Nope, we've got this big giant one here. It's whatever box you have open is showing as.
I understand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you can just, whatever box that is, just get out of the box. Nope. Sorry, everybody. Thank you for your patience. There you go. Okay, so it's a community circle time is a little bit longer, and it's for 25 minutes. Everybody's going to log in tomorrow at 9 a.m. and you should have the Zoom links provided to you by either Ms. Schaefer or Ms. Shea, and they'll let you know who. Okay. And so this is the wrong,
That's what I was just saying, I think that's-
oh, this is the wrong one. So synchronous, it actually looks a little different. You're gonna have both math and English, I believe, on tomorrow. And so we'll make sure that we will send out I think Terry Baum sent you the correct schedule. Again, we've been updating it regularly to make sure that we're giving the highest level of instruction for each of the students. And so I apologize if this is the wrong one. That should have been changed.
35 minutes.
Yeah, there'll be 2 35-minute blocks each day, except for Friday will be the 1 60-minute of exploratory and PE. Okay, so that's the difference with the schedule. Okay, this is again best practice for grades 9 through 12, and it's just meeting once a week is basically what the minimum requirement is. And it doesn't necessarily have the social emotional learning, but we really loved that we were doing it for the TK 8, and your students' well-being is first and foremost. And so we want to make sure that we're honoring all students, and so we're offering it for our high schoolers as well. And so do you want to go ahead to the schedule? So you'll see that here you'll have, there's 3 options, and students are required to attend at least one from 9 to 9:30. You can of course attend more if you're really enjoying it. We would love to see you more often, and if you want to get involved in the different classes and just have that community building time. But everybody's required to attend at least one time between 9 and 9:30 on either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Yes, Julie, if you could do that, that would be great. Thank you so much. And then each of you that are in high school should have already heard from at least one of your teachers by now, and you will be meeting to kind of set up what your week will look like, where you're meeting once a week for that 1 hour. Those of you that are taking algebra or geometry with a live teacher, you will be required to be to meet remotely between 8 and 9 twice a week, either Monday and Wednesday for algebra, Tuesday and Thursday for geometry. And then that math flexible learning time, Miss Bors will decide who needs to have that extra support, and then she'll pull you in for that extra tutoring time. And if you really are having trouble, you can always email Miss Bors and ask for that extra support. Math is really hard to learn independently, and so that's why we have this math program. Students are not required to do live instruction for math, and you can ask your core teacher, I just want to take Apex, and that's fine. But if you are interested in receiving that extra support, you would be required to attend regularly. You can't just do pop-ins between 8 and 9 sometimes. It would have to be you're going all of the time or none of the time. Okay, special education. Do you want to hit that one?
So many of you have maybe already started this process. In order for a student who receives special ed services to be in independent study, there must be a meeting with the IEP team, and they must deem that independent study is an appropriate placement for a student with special education needs. So the district is currently working with some of those families. The out-of-district families will meet with their IEP team and have their IEP team amend the placement for the year 2021-2022. And that process does take a little bit of time. So as soon as we get that, then we can start them in the classes.
And then the other piece is, someone asked if there's an SDC class, and the answer is no, there is not an SDC class, and that would be something that the IEP team would determine where is the best placement for your child. But unfortunately, we do not have an SDC option. So that's something that you want to make sure that you talk to the special education department. Also, one thing that I did miss is that any student in high school that wants to meet in person, you can. So there's an in-person option with your teacher if you are in high school. Okay. And then the re-engagement piece that Ms. Russell talked about earlier is we are required to make sure that we are finding out why a student is not attending regularly. And so that's what I explained that tiered time is for, is to make sure that we are checking in with you and finding out how we can best serve you. And any student who is in violation of that master agreement, they will be placed on a contract. And then If they continue to have trouble logging in, they continue to have trouble connecting, we then have to have that evaluation of enrollment to decide what are the best next steps. Tiered support, I kind of just went over that. It's the same kind of thing. We do the re-engagement, and then if that doesn't work, we talk about the tiered levels of support. And then if it's determined that it's not the best placement, we have 5 days to have your child return to traditional setting. Okay, so we have some expectations of both parents and students. And for both students and parents, we want you to understand the nature of independent study. So this is no longer virtual learning. This is independent study, okay? And then you'll have 30 days that you'll have to sign the agreement for with the master agreement. We're working on just finalizing it because there's so many different rules and regulations. We want to make sure that we have everything taken care of. We're asking for grace as we work through all of these different challenges and changes, and thank you for your flexibility and understanding and patience as we navigate through. And then we want you to provide feedback. We don't know if it's not working if you're not telling us. So please keep us in the loop as things are not working. Nothing is written in stone right now. It's really flexible. And so we took best practices, and if we decide best practices is not what's best for our students, we can rearrange some things. And so your feedback is going to be crucial as we're navigating this process. And so please send me an email at kearly@nusd.org, or again, jmarshrussell@nusd.org. And one of us will make sure that we take your feedback and apply it to changes. And then, yeah, it's important for you to be part of this program so our students can thrive. Parents, we expect you to provide appropriate work environment, a place for your student to work, essentially. That someplace, it could be the kitchen table, the coffee table, it could be a desk, but someplace that's quiet where they can work independently. And then the littles, so TK through 5, we need you to be available. So not just there, but actually available to help, because there are things that you may not think about, but like cutting. And if it's a little and they're 4 or 5 and they're not able to cut, they're going to need you to do those things, or folding, or looking at numbers. So you're going to need to participate. And that's really important for you to understand that our expectation is for you to be available. And then help if needed. And sure, your child will have to participate in all local NUSD assessments. And so last year we had some students that opted out of the Galileo assessment. That won't be allowed this year. Students have to participate in all of the local assessments, because that's how we determine if we're serving you properly. We don't know how our students are thriving, or if they have challenges if they're not taking the assessment. So all students will be required to participate in our local assessments. And then call if your student will be absent. And then students, we expect you to attend class regularly, on time. Here's the important part: with your camera on. So last year, at least for the middle and high schoolers at Nova, you were allowed to not have your camera on for some of the group work settings, but everybody is required to have your camera on. That is a part of you being present. And we want full face. So see how my face is right now? We don't want this, right? We want to be able to see those great faces. So please make sure that you get comfortable being in front of the camera. And then again, we want you, student, to make sure that you are participating in all of our local assessments. Communicate. If something's not working for you and you're having a tough time, let us know. We're here to support you. We care about you. Your well-being is first and foremost. So communicate with us. Do your own work. Complete your work on time. Ask for help when needed. We're here to support you. Attend the tiered support when it is assigned to you. And then display appropriate academic behavior, being kind. And then if you have any trouble with your computer, make sure that you bring it to Hill to get it fixed within 48 hours, because you are required to attend regularly, okay? And with a working mic, that's, yeah, great.
And then with the tiered support, we'll try to give advance notice. We know that it's difficult for our families to sometimes say, oh, by the way, at 1 o'clock today, I want you to come to tiered support. So as much as we can, we'll try to communicate upfront and give you some heads up around that timing. so that you can plan for it. Obviously, sometimes it'll come up quickly and we'll ask that they attend, but if they can't, we can understand that there are some difficulties in timing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. No, it should go to the next one. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So important dates. So I don't know what it says under the big bar, but I think it was first day of school. So first day of school is tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are so excited. We've missed you guys and we're excited to serve you. And we're excited that we've expanded to serve all of Marin County. So we've always been able to serve a lot of students, but we expanded. Are you ready? We went from like 60 to 130 students. So we expanded a lot and we are excited to be able to serve you. And we have some growing pains. And so again, we thank you for understanding as we navigate through those growing pains. But we were really excited to serve all of Marin County and thankful that we had this option. Not all of the districts have the option, which is why they're doing these MOUs, which is an agreement between the districts so that we can help serve their students in their district. Picture Day. Picture Day will be next Tuesday, the 24th. The littles TK to 5 arrive at 9 a.m. and with your best outfit on and ready to smile for that picture. And then 6th through 12th, you're going to arrive at 9:30 and you'll get your ID before you leave. And then we have 30 days for the enrollment agreement. So your teacher will get those enrollment agreements over to you. It is your responsibility, families, to make sure that you get those back to us signed right away. And then we're going to have a meet and greet. We're trying to figure out the logistics because of COVID, but we want to have an opportunity for you to be able to meet us in person and for us to meet you in person for those of you that feel comfortable. So look for some more information probably in September. And then I think the next is questions, recap. Okay, so just to recap, so all districts must provide an independent study option. So if you're someone who is not in Novato, your district is required to, there's the bargain, that is required to give us or to give you an option of independent study. So if you're here, that means that their option was to allow you to come over here. Special ed students must have an IEP meeting to determine the best placement. We have 30 days to enroll and get that contract signed. Mandates for live interaction and live instruction for K-8. So we are required to make sure that we are instructing you at least weekly for the older kiddos, and then daily instruction for the younger. And then tiered support for re-engagement. It's our job to make sure that we are figuring out why your child is not coming and how we can best serve your child. And then again, we have 5 days either with the parent or the guardian, or the school just decides that this is not the best placement. We have 5 days to re-enroll your student someplace else. And then last but not least, if there's any questions, we do have the question box. Ms. Adams, thank you so much for answering so many of the questions. Let's see if we can go through.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to go back to the first screen so we can.
The emails are in there. Okay, so is the MOU different for, so one of the questions, oh, you're answering that. Julie, great, thank you. Will the district be providing electronic for the new students? Yes, great question. Every student will be given a Chromebook. And so we will, as we're enrolling, TK to 1 will have iPads because they don't necessarily know how to type yet, so they need the iPad. Yes, you will be given that. And we're going to have on August 24th, we're going to have a pickup where all your students will be given supplies. Those of you that are in need of a Chromebook, you'll have to have that right away. So you can come to the school, you can contact the school and we'll get that to you right away. So that's top priority. So great question. I answered live for that one. Our laptops provided, or is it okay to use? You can use your own. I think we prefer to use the Chromebook. I believe that what was the agreement is we prefer to use the Chromebook because we're going to use some different programs that may not be compatible with your own, and we want to be able to use GoGuardian and different platforms. And so we prefer you to use our Chromebook. But if there's some like Google Docs that you want to, sometimes they like to work on 2 different platforms. That's okay too. And for the testing, you'll need your Chromebook. I was told that Santa Fe issued Chromebooks can be used for this Nova course. That is a great question. Will you take note of that? I'm not sure. Great question. And that's, do you see the name? Will you write the name down and then will you make sure you get back to them, please? We will get back to you with that question. Great question. Do you have a breakdown of the number of students for the grades 2nd through 5th grade grouping? Do you have those numbers? I think our largest is 2nd grade. And we have a cap of 24 or 22. We're still waiting to get word on that. But I think we had last I checked, it was the largest one was the 18 was 2nd grade, but I don't know if that's. So she's counting right now to get those number breakdowns for you. Someone has a question on school packet. We used to get it from school last year. What will be the arrangements in Nova Schooling? We are not sure where to go for first day school packet. Okay, so for the school packet, Terry Baum should have emailed that to you. What I can do is we'll take down your information. Can you call this? You can either call the school first thing in the morning and we can make sure that we email you all of the important pieces. So this is for the person looking for the school packet.
Kessa, I think they mean homework packets, weekly homework packets.
School packet, we used to get it from school last year. What will be arrangement in Nova School? We are not sure where to get first day school packet. Are you sure?
I thought they meant like.
Okay, so well, I can answer both questions. So
packet.
if it's about the first day back to school packet and you need your links and you need, school mint and Aries information, please contact the school first thing in the morning at 7:30, 8 a.m. and we can get that over to you. If it's about how you're going to get the work, do one of the teachers want to pick that up on how you're going to get the work over to them? What that will look like? Julie, you want to go ahead?
It depends on the grade. For the high school, you'll get your assignment once a week when you come in or check in online. For the elementary, I think for VLA, they were picking up work packets once a week. Maybe one of the elementary teachers can address that in case that's what they were referring to.
I think for in regards to like how the arrangement will be of dropping off work or scanning in work, each of the teachers will explain that all this week. So not to worry about that right now. If it's the first day packet, call us in the morning. If it's about assignments, the teacher will make sure that everybody is very clear on what they need and to do to turn in assignments and pick up assignments. So it says, what are the logistics for picture day if kids are wearing, everyone needs to wear a mask for picture day. And whenever you're on campus, you need to wear a mask. And then when they get inside, they'll take off their mask and then they'll put it right back on. So they won't have a mask on for pictures, but great question. Are Wednesdays minimum days? No, we have the one set schedule. We have staff meetings. And so there won't be the tier time. If you want to make it a minimum day, you can. That's the beauty of independent study is you get to dictate what the schedule looks like and what works best for your child, but we are not doing that now. Quest, you mentioned live math with live math support. What will that be available? Will that be available for Algebra 2? No, it is only available for Algebra 1 and Geometry because those are usually our largest classes. Algebra 2 will have just will be on Apex, and then you can get support from our math teacher during flexible math time if you send Ms. Boers an email asking for that Algebra 2 support. She'll be happy to support you, but they won't have live instruction. And then I talked about Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning live check-in that every student is required. We did not remember hearing about that today. So I think I went over that. So for high school only, it is the community building time, that's community circle, is either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday mornings at 9 a.m. And every high schooler is required to do at least one of those sessions. They're welcome to do more, but they're required to do at least one of those sessions. And that's going to be time that's going to talk about how you're doing, mindfulness, checking in with yourself. Our kiddos are under a lot of stress and pressure, and taking care of their mental health is really important, and giving them tools to learn how to check in with their body and to get rid of some of the anxiety, meditate, things of that nature. And that's what we'll be doing, and some fun activities, scavenger hunts, and different fun things that will help just build community. So that's what it will look like for the high school. We the door's so hot. Okay. Our TK number, so the person who asked about the littles numbers, 4th through 5th grade, oh, the numbers did jump, I stand corrected. So 4th through 5th grade is now up to 21 students. 2nd and 3rd grade is 20 students, and TK to 1 is 16 students. What's his Monday? That's a no. For 11th grade. So I think I answered your question in regards to that piece. What can we do for students selected for GAIN program? I don't know what GAIN program is. Teachers, do any of you know what the GAIN program is? It says GAIN, G-A-I-N. Does anyone know what GAIN? I apologize. Mr. Rodriguez, you asked about the GAIN program. I'm not sure what that is. So whoever is the person that let you know that your student was selected for that program, I would recommend talking to them about it. At this time, we are not familiar with it. The kids have to be there at Nova School in person for the picture day, and how much is the pictures? Okay, so the picture, there'll be picture packets that you can pick up and fill out the day that you arrive. Who's not on mute? That was weird. And yes, they have to be here in person. That's how we're going to get the picture taken. So I don't know how much they are. My son took pictures last year. I think it ranges, like it's as little as like 20, as much as like 50, depending on what you want. So you can pick the packet that you decide, but you are not required to purchase, but just to have, so that you have an ID. Will teachers be reviewing curriculum, resources, workbook? Yes, absolutely. Teachers will be reviewing the curriculum and expectations of students within, by this second week of school, the beginning of second week. I was told for K through 5, we will be coordinating a day for student pickup, and then, like, let's say on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and then we'll have a pickup drop off, so you can drop off the work and then you can pick up the next week's supplies and assignments. Do we have to request a lunch, or can we just show up? I think you just show up, and you can show up at any time, I think between 12 and 1, if you'd like to get. It might even be a little earlier. So you can just show up for the lunch. That's totally fine. Are you guys going to send us all this information you guys read in this meeting? Yeah, we can share the slide deck if that would be helpful. We can absolutely send that out sometime tomorrow. Will you take a note to send it to Terry? Okay. How do we know whom our teacher is and how many students per teacher? So we answer the TK through 5. Your teacher should be sending out a list or a welcome to Nova with their link. So you should receive that tonight. If you haven't received it by 8 a.m. tomorrow, please contact the school and we will get that over to you by tomorrow. And you'll need the link as well. What are the Zoom links? So it sounds like a lot of people haven't received the Zoom links. Teachers that are TK through 5 or through 8, have you guys sent out your Zoom links? Yes, can you just do a thumbs up, or if you sent out your Zoom links?
Yeah, so we've had some changes in who's enrolled. So I sent out to the initial group for 6 through 8. But on Aries, we seem to have a list of families that are both enrolled and not enrolled. So I sent out an email, but it's kind of going to everybody. So that's a little bit of a confusion.
Okay, so Ms. Russell will work with the teachers on that to make sure that everyone has their correct Zoom link. For the parent that said that their child has an IEP and the amendment, and that you want your child to start tomorrow, If you have been given a go that they're able to start tomorrow, we welcome, absolutely. So please go ahead and plan on attending. That's fine. If they have the amendment, correct. And then it looks like our second and third grade classes should have received their Zoom links. You have not received a welcome back packet. So they're talking about a welcome back packet. So can you have Terry send just another email about welcome back to school? And the welcome back letter that was sent in early August is different than what we sent on August 11th. So we'll send you the August 11th letter because things change so much. What does the live interaction time with the teacher look like for fourth grade, as it is 1 hour with what is the structure? It's not live interaction, it's actually synchronous learning for 1 hour for fourth grade. The interaction is that community building time. And that's like what I said, the checking in, the how are you doing, maybe sharing experiences and fun community building activities. The 1 hour synchronous learning time, that's going to be instruction. That is instruction for fourth grade. Has his Google account accidentally turned off by NUSD earlier this week, so we can't get your emails? Oh dear. Okay, I sent a separate email to Jen Russell a few minutes ago about the issue. Can you please email us back so we know how to approach? This is from a parent. Got it? Yes, we will get on that. We will check for that email. Just to confirm, can students still join tomorrow even if MOU is not signed? No, they're not supposed to. We're not going to turn anybody away, but if the MOU is not signed, we're not supposed to. We have been instructed to not enroll students until Thursday. So you can really push your district to make sure they get that MOU signed tomorrow, so that your child doesn't miss too much instruction, but we are not supposed to have students attend tomorrow. And I apologize, I wish it was different. Who do I contact to get help with Aries? I'm not able to sign in. Help desk? Call.
But if
you can do can they do a help desk ticket? I think so, right? You can do a help desk ticket at help@nusd.org, or you can contact our school tomorrow morning, and Terry Baum or Tracy Krelling will help you with that. Where can I find the Zoom links for my students' classes? In Aries, the link should be in Aries, correct? If they're logged into Aries, they should be able to log in and see their students. Isn't that correct? Yeah, the Zoom link. The Zoom link should be in your Aries account for your child. If you're a little, I don't know how that's working. So that's why the teacher will send out the information. If you do not have the Zoom links by first thing tomorrow morning, contact us because we want you to make sure that you've got the Zoom link so you can log in tomorrow. Should the transfers Sarah incoming 7th grade expect to pick up a packet? Administration with the information coming from a teacher, maybe along with the login. So again, anybody coming from out of district, you'll start on Thursday and you should get a welcome back packet by then. So can you make sure that every inter gets that packet? We have a couple of the kind of similar questions, so I might skip over some of those. Where do I call? Who do I talk to if I want to switch my child back to in-person? Oh, if you want, you can just shoot us an email that just says, this is my child's name and I want them to go to in-person instruction, and then they can enroll you right away. How will kids get lunches? So lunches, they can just pull in and you'll be able to, just how people have been doing it the last year and a half, you could just pull into a Hill Education Center in our turnaround, and then you can just grab a grab and go lunch. Are Zoom links still being sent this evening?
Yeah, I'll send.
Yes, they are still being sent this evening.
Everybody from 6:38 on asking for a Zoom link.
Fifth grade, our fifth grade teacher, they have not received, she's not on here, so they have not received fifth grade information yet.
I see some that.
Question, do we follow the district calendar for days off? We do. So you'll have the same holidays and the same breaks. Is there a school calendar available? Yeah, you can just go onto the NUSD website and that's the same calendar. We have the same calendar. Inter-district transfers, where can we expect confirmation our students were accepted? We are accepting all students from inter-district transfers. It's just a matter of when we can enroll you. So Again, that should be Thursday. Our school counselor is available for appointments. That is a great question. It depends on what grade you are in. For 9th through 12th grade, we do have a counselor, and depending on how many students we have, we may have to increase her hours because she's only a part-time counselor. If it is a student, that is younger and you're talking about emotional support kind of counseling from BHCR, we may have to increase those hours depending on how many students need counseling. So it depends on what kind of counseling you're talking about. But the answer is yes, we can make it available, and it's definitely for 9th through 12th. And if it's emotional support counseling, yes, we may have to increase the hours. Great question. Let me write that down. So someone wants to know about the middle school elective options. So Ms. Shea and Ms. Schaefer will be talking to you about what those electives look like. It's going to be exploratory. So every 6 weeks or so, it's going to kind of be changing. It's going to look different. So they'll tell you about the elective on Friday when they have that class. I don't know what that means. Packet or link for Ariana in the morning. So there's more students that have not received.
Right. I think there's more that went in.
So what we were waiting for the district to enroll to enroll all the students inside of Aries. And as of this morning, we still didn't have we only had 22 students enrolled, but we have 130. So there's a little bit of a lag time, and so I apologize that it hasn't happened. We weren't even able to contact you guys to let you know about this orientation, except for we had to kind of go around the system and then have our office manager reach out to you individually through the email. So it's a little bit of lag time, and I apologize. So just keep asking us and we will get those to you. Activity time for high school. It will look like fun, scavenger hunts, things like that. It will look like social emotional mindfulness, breath work, community building, getting to know each other, supporting each other. And then my question about activity times for high school, I got that. We don't have, can you see? We don't have school packets, school Chromebooks, classroom things, info, who to contact. Contact the school first thing in the morning for whoever needs the Chromebook, the class link. And so contact our school first thing tomorrow morning, 415-892-8733. If our student was in NUSD last year, is their 10-digit? Yes, number is the same. What is tiered time? So I'm gonna, this will be available for you, and you'll be able to look at this again, but I did already explain tiered time. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to repeat that, but you will be able to look at the recording and read what tiered time is. There is no required attire for picture day, except for dress appropriately and make sure that students are covered up appropriately. I'm dressed in, in appropriate attire for school. For 8th graders, they're going to be a homework packet in a weekly basis. So each teacher will be able to answer those questions about curriculum. Okay. So another person, kindergarten and 3rd grade, don't have the link. So it sounds like there's a lot of you that do not have those. I have twins and IEP, so I do not have, or do they just join the class tomorrow? For the parent who has the twins in 8th grade, if you do not have the IEP, so I do have, I don't know what that means. So the question is, do I have to agree with the amendment? Yes, is that a yes or a no? Can you just answer?
Yeah, the amendment must be signed by the IEP team, and we will have to find out what happens when you disagree with that.
Okay.
We'll have to figure that out.
Someone says, I don't know what Constella is still going to do the best way to communicate with our child's teacher. What's that? Do teachers, do you know what Constella is? I've never heard of Constella, so no, the best way to communicate with the teacher would be through email, or will be the best way is through email. I heard about field trips. I know it is early in the game, but do you know, no, we don't know anything about field trips, but we want to be able to bring you on campus and do activities and field days and carnivals and hopefully some field trips. But with COVID changing so much, we do not know, but we do plan to offer some options when it's available. Zoom links. I need the teacher's Zoom link sent to me so he can attend IEP. Said it is a go. Okay, so that's another. I also emailed General, so that's the same one. I think you answered that. So another one who can't log into Aries, just make sure that you contact the school tomorrow. The incoming, I'm going to answer probably about 5 more questions, and then if your question was not answered, I'm going to ask you to email, and then we will get back to you as best as we can. So the next question is, the incoming parents who are in the enrollment process weren't on the various welcome lists. So there's a lot we don't know. Plus, what we signed up for was changed to Nova. Yes, without our knowledge. Understood. I only learned about the change today. Yes, I'm sorry. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that message and for understanding. And that was why we wanted to have this orientation, is to make sure that the parents knew what was happening, because if you signed up for VLA and it's independent study, you may not want it. And if you signed up for an independent study, but now it looks a little bit different with more check-in, you may not want it. So we wanted to make sure that we at least got this information to you as quickly as possible. And I apologize, it's the day before school, and all I can do is say sorry and thank you for understanding. And thank you for that kind message. So another one where her daughter's email got disabled. How are they going to log in tomorrow? So if your daughter's email got disabled, go ahead and call us tomorrow, not the district. Call us tomorrow at 415-892-8733, or you can email Jen Marsh Russell. Email Jen Marsh Russell, and she's going to do like a collective email of all of the people who are unable to log in. So if you cannot log in, if your account has been disabled, please make sure that you go ahead and do that. Send her an email, J Marsh Russell, RUSSELL @NUSD.org right now, so that she can put that in there. How is the synchronous learning for multiple grade 2-4? Okay, so no, great question. That is confusing. So the question is, how is the synchronous learning for a multi-grade 2nd, 4th going to be structured? So it's not. It's 2nd grade meets separately with one teacher, with Miss Cabot, and 4th grade meets separately with Miss LeCuse. So it's 2 separate classes. Just for the sake of the bell schedule, we put 2nd and 4th grade will meet at 9:30, and 3rd and 5th will meet at the 10:30. Great question. Do not worry. Your 2nd grader will not be with 4th graders, and your 3rd grader will not be with 5th graders. So thank you. I hope that clarifies that. My child was enrolled in Nova last year. Do I need an MOU? Ooh, good question. No. If your child was already enrolled, no. If you're already enrolled, you're good to go. So no. A great question. Still another Zoom link for a 2nd grader. It doesn't have one. So the Katerina, please make sure that you send an email to Miss Russell right now. And then Miss Melendez, same thing. Kids can't log into Aries. So Miss Melendez, if you can also, for high school and 8th grade, please send Miss Russell the email so that she can add you. We pick up the Chromebook on Friday. If the MOU is valid on Thursday, if the MOU is valid, if you guys can pick it up on Wednesday afternoon. You can pick up the Chromebooks on Wednesday afternoon so that you can log in on Thursday. So will you make sure that Tracy or that Terry is ready for Chromebooks and everything? So just plan on picking those Chromebooks up on Wednesday afternoon. Or iPads, I apologize. If we go back to in-person, are we able to go back to our school district? Sure, yeah, absolutely. You can go back anytime you want. You're not required, you cannot be forced to be an independent study. So you have 5 days. If you let us know, we have 5 days to get you back to your school. So the field trip question.
We are our elementary schools.
So the question is, log in tomorrow or Thursday? If you are a Novato Unified School District student, you live in Novato, or you were previously enrolled in Nova last year, you're going to log in tomorrow at 9 a.m. If you are in high school, you will meet with your teacher as they have assigned. Okay, so TK through 8, if you are a Novato resident or you were here last year, you will log in tomorrow at 9 a.m. High school, you will check in with your teacher as they have scheduled appointments. And then if you are out of the district, you're going to log in on Thursday. Okay. Can I say the phone number slowly? 415-892-833. Again, that's 415-892-8733. Okay. Still the number to call for second graders. Either number is fine. We have like 4 different numbers here. So you can call 892-8733 or 897-7653. Either one will work fine. How do we know when our MOU is signed? You can watch the board meeting tomorrow. And we will notify you that we're going to welcome you for Thursday morning. And then I thank you guys so much. That's our time. I know there are so many questions. So if your question was not answered, please go ahead and send an email to Ms. Russell and Ms. Early, K. Early at NUSD.org, and we will answer you as quickly as we can. Thank you, everybody. We are so excited to serve your students, and we are so excited to start school tomorrow. And I'm really proud of our staff that managed to pull this thing together. We have an incredible team. You guys are fortunate to have these great educators working with your students, and thank you. So have a wonderful evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.